Hello, class. How's everybody doing today? I am Chef Sean Andre. Happy to be back with you. So today I am here. I'm gonna make a couple cool little dishes for you guys. I'll make a salmon dish. So first things first. Where's the salmon? So, all right. So exactly what I'm gonna make is kind of a fall winter dish. So it's gonna be a cilantro and earth seasoned cilantro Atlantic salmon with a butternut squash, apple, golden raisin, and quinoa raspberry couscous. And I'm going to serve that with a raspberry vinaigrette that I already made, some sauteed spinach, and a little fresh basil, right? So the first thing I want to do is make sure I have all my elements. So I got my salmon, which I already dusted. I marinated it last night. So basically what I did is I took the salmon, right? These are huge, like 8-ounce fillets, but I squeezed a little bit of lemon juice on there, clean them first, squeeze a little bit of lemon juice on there, right? And then I added some salt, pepper, a little bit of fresh garlic powder, and then just some chopped cilantro, patted that in really, really nicely, right? And I just let that sit in the oven wrapped overnight to kind of marinate it, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to cut these in half, and then I'm going to pan sear them into this pan. Okay, so I have my quinoa. It's just an herb garlic quinoa that I cooked last night, standard recipe, boiled, seasoned, so on and so forth. Very, very easy. I have my butternut squash here that basically I just roasted. So I did a little, took the butternut squash, sliced it, de-seeded it, then diced it. Then I roasted it in the oven with a little grapeseed oil, salt, pepper, cumin, and I hit it with a little bit of allspice, nutmeg, and cinnamon. Put it in the oven, let it roast, get some nice color on it. Then I hold that whole cold on the side, okay? Then while that was also cooking in the oven, I did some apples. I went to Perkins Orchard the other day in Durham, and got some nice fresh apples. So I got some apples here. Have some yellow onion that I also got from there. Some pecans, and golden raisins, and also cranberries. So nice fall colors, right? You can see that. So all I did is take that with a little bit of olive oil, and I saute that all up together. Get a nice caramelization on that. And then once my butternut squash was done, I add a little bit of that to the pan. So I'm just reserving some on the side for later for garnish for my salad. Because what's going to happen today is my idea is I'm going to make one cold version. I'm going to cook the fish, but I'm going to make a cold salad for one presentation. Then I'll make a hot version and I'm going to cook the spinach just to show you different two types of plates and how you can work that to your fancy and to your guest needs. Make sense? Okay, fantastic. Moving on. So, okay. Also, I have raspberry vinaigrette here that I made that was fresh, right? So basically how you make the raspberry vinaigrette, and I just did this at the same time because I know you guys are busy and I don't want to take your whole day. But raspberry vinaigrette, just fresh strawberries, pureed, right? Put them in the blender, immersion blender, what have you. A little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit of sugar, right? And rice wine vinegar. You want to use rice wine vinegar or something sweet, not red wine, but something sweet, and not white vinegar. So rice wine or champagne is what I suggest. Mix all that together, right? Then you're going to slowly add your olive oil to the blender to emulsify it. And that's how you're going to make your vinaigrette, right? Then you taste, adjust your seasoning as needed. You might need to add a little bit more sugar, a little bit more salt, but you'll see that. And that's the end result right there, okay? Then I got my garlic here, got my spinach. I de-stemmed some that I'm going to use for the salad. And I have some that I didn't de-stem that I'm going to saute anyway that you won't be able to see regardless. Can you open the door for me? Also here, I have a little bit of tomatoes. These are heirloom tomatoes, basically for color. I don't know if you can see that. And I put a little bit of garlic in there and some of that raspberry vinaigrette. Now, what are heirloom tomatoes? I know you guys probably know this, but I'm just telling you anyway. Heirloom tomatoes is just like a family heirloom. Basically, they save the seeds and they continue to grow them throughout generations. Heirloom tomatoes. Okay, so that's what that means. Okay, So here we go. So I got my oven set over there, 400. Oh, let me show you one more thing. So this is what I made from the butternut squash, the apple, onion, cranberry, pecan mixture. I put all of that in a blender, right? I put all of that in a blender, let it get happy together, right? Add a little bit of chicken stock, right? Just to loosen it up in the blender, right? Let that mix. And then I added like a quarter cup of heavy whipping cream and then my seasoning, the allspice, nutmeg, so forth. So this is what it comes out as. Now, you can add more stock to this and more cream to this to make a soup. Or you can leave it thick like that, and I'm going to also use it as a sauce. You follow me? See how easy? You'll see when I garnish the plate, but those are the two versions of that, okay? And then over here, I took my herbs. This is the same herbs. And again, this is all about color, right? You see, I got the orange here. I got the green here. So basically all I did was, this is like a salsa verde, basically. So this is cilantro, basil, mint, a little bit of grapeseed oil, some lemon juice, right? All the elements that are on the salmon, right? And I'm gonna make a sauce out of those. So same thing, put them in the blender, let them go a little bit, add a little bit of oil so it thickens. And again, this is the end result, okay? And so this is my third sauce, okay? So I got my salsa verde, I got my butternut squash sauce, I got my raspberry vinaigrette, and I have some regular balsamic glaze, okay? Questions? Any questions so far? Are we ready to start cooking? I know you guys are. All right, here we go. Are we good? Mm-hmm. All right, let's do it. Okay, so first things first. This is a very, very huge piece of salmon. So I'm gonna cut this down, right? So I'm just gonna take this, and I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I think you can, right? Yeah. But so basically, I want when I'm cooking this, I want the salmon to lay flat. You see how it's laying flat on this bottom side right now? I want the top side to be flat like that as well. So
the salmon, how you're cutting.
Okay. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to fillet this down the side. You'll see here. See that? So now all of that's flat. You follow me? So when it cooks, right, it's all still going to be even. I have two nice sized portions. So when I flip it over, it's still flat. When I cook this side, it's still flat. You see what I'm saying? So that's very important. Now you guys know the skin's you can serve with the skin on or off, but once I flip it over and pop it in the oven, the skin should come right off, okay? But leaving the skin on does keep it a little tender as well, okay? So now, I'm gonna add some oil to my pan. Is that high? Is that fan can go? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm gonna add some oil to my pan, and you want to make sure when you pan sear. So the idea behind pan searing is you want to make sure that you're locking in the flavor, right? So I'm gonna pan sear on this first side so that all the seasoning and the herbs and everything will sear in there, and they'll be encrusted. You're gonna make like a little crust on this first side. So what I do is I pan sear. Right? You hear that signal? You want to make sure your pan is hot, right? Not smoking hot. That's why I keep taking it off the heat and adjusting my heat. But you want to make sure that when you put the food in the pan, that it does, if the pan's cold, it's going to sit there and it's going to saturate and not cook. You follow me? But I want that nice crust on there, which you'll see here in a second. Okay? And this is the thicker side of the piece. So I'm going to just let that cook a little bit first. So you guys see that? Right? Put me down a little bit. Right? Okay. Back up. All right. Now, down. There we go. Perfecto. Okay. Now you see how that's already starting to sear like that? I'm just pulling it out so you can see it. This is weird, but I'm going to do it anyway. See that? That's already starting to sear and coating all those flavors. So we're almost there already. Right? Now I'm going to go ahead and put my other piece in there and let that go. So this whole process right here, So I cook basically everything like this: fish, steaks, anything I'm doing at home. Hot, warm to hot pan, little bit of oil. Pan sear all my seasonings and flavors in on the first side, right? I'm gonna let that go for about 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Then I'm gonna flip it over, right? Give it another 2 minutes. Pop the whole thing in a 350 degree oven, and it'll be done in, I don't know, 10 minutes. By the time I pull all this other stuff together, it'll be done, which is a very, very cool thing about it. Okay? Any questions?
Now I know y'all got some questions. If you're gonna have to come off mute and talk because I can't read the chat, unless you want me to read the questions from your survey that you
Look at that.
asked. Oh, that was really good.
All right, so now this is good. This is done. It's going right in the oven. All right, that's that. Actually, you want me to cook all 4 pieces?
That's good for you.
Oh, please.
All right, back to the show.
All right. Okay. So anyway, so that's going directly in the oven, right? So I'm gonna clean up my little area here, and I'm gonna flip this. Yes, fantastic. So I'm gonna flip my cutting board over obviously because I have fish on it. Don't want to do that again, right?
So I'm looking at some of the questions that they had from here. So one question that Destiny asked on the survey is, do all professional chefs travel?
It depends on what level you are in and what you want to do. When I started my career, I personally love to travel. I mean, being a chef has taken me to a lot of cool places. So I enjoy the travel piece of it. However, some are not, but you can be a traveler, meaning you can be a trainer, right? Let's just say that you work in a restaurant or what have you, and they're opening a new one in, I don't know, Wilson, whatever, let's just say. And you work in the store in Cary, and they say, hey, Destiny, would you like to come help us train some new people in Wilson in the new whatever restaurant? And you say, yeah, sure. That's kind of cool, Or you could be an in-store training where the person from Wilson comes to your unit and you train them there and you go home every day. It just depends on what you want to do. I will say that, the opportunities are boundless, like I've been to, like I said, Milan, I've been to, England, California, like all kinds of places, just because I happen to like to travel. Well, now, I'm back in North Carolina after 30 years and I don't feel like traveling. So I'm going to be here teaching you guys. So that's how that works, basically. What else you got for me?
A question that Clancy asked, which I talk about this all the time. Do you recommend culinary school? What are your opinions and thoughts about that?
I do. I think that, I'm not one that's ever going to put down getting an education. So let me say that first things first. However, in culinary school, when you leave culinary school, it's a classroom setting. It's controlled, right? Meaning, pretty much what's going to happen there every day, right? But in a restaurant, it's not controlled. So when you leave culinary school and let's say you have your degree in whatever you have, what you want to understand is you're a chef on paper for sure. You're top of the class, but in practical everyday skill, you're still a novice, right? So when you get a job and you come out of culinary school, don't go into the restaurant and say, yeah, I'm a chef. I just graduated culinary school. Because all the chefs that came up from dishwashers that have been there for 15 years are going to laugh at you. Don't do that. So go in there, put your head down, learn that practical skill. Then what you've learned in school, you compound that. And that's how you become one day that you own the place. So both are important, right? And I think I told you guys this the last time. Like executive chef, it's two parts to the job, right? Executive is that executive piece that's got to make the money. That means school. You got to learn math. You got to learn how to purchase, how to buy, where that comes from. You have to learn math. You have to learn school. You have to learn how to divide. You have to learn what food cost is. You have to learn how to manage a budget. That you learn that in school, right? The chef piece, you learn that in school as well, but that's where we get to have our fun. And we get to do what we're doing today. We get to be creative, so on and so forth. How you make the money is you know something about both of them. And you can do them both pretty well. And then that opens so many doors for you. Like, so yeah, I would recommend going to culinary school. And I also highly recommend, even if you can't, maybe you don't want to be a chef, whatever you want to do. I tell people all the time, if you want to be a librarian, right, go get a job in a library and let them pay you to train, because they'll train you on how to work in a library, right? If you want to be a chef one day, go get a job as a cook and get a salary while you're learning on the job. You follow what I'm saying? Like, again, coming straight out of school thinking you're going to get that job at whatever prestigious resort, it's not reality. I mean, it may. I'm not saying it won't, but it's just not. I think you got to have that hands-on experience as well, is where I'm going. Cool. Let me check on my fish. Go ahead. I'm listening though.
So one of the job descriptions that you described yourself as a corporate chef, and I think that might be a new terminology for them. You guys probably haven't heard of what is a corporate chef. So what exactly does that mean, and how would you describe your day-to-day activity as a corporate chef?
So what a corporate chef is I'm the chef of the Google Corporation, right? So basically anything that happens in Google and TurboTax and those places that I'm affiliated with in the nation, direct from myself and my team. So that means chef of the corporation. So you got a corporate chef who runs. So basically, I have multiple units that I'm responsible for. That's everything from that's everything on the West Coast of the United States, from Seattle all the way across to New Orleans. It's under my tutelage, right? So I have, 40, 50 executive chefs that work under me. But then at my personal unit, I have 100, 150 employees. So, and then all those chefs have less or more employees under their tutelage. So so the way it works is there's line cook, sous chef, executive chef, maybe area chef, corporate chef, director of culinary. So I have a boss, is what I'm saying, who oversees all of the Google in the world. You follow me? And there are 3 or 4 of us across the country that have my title. Across the world that have my title. Somebody in China, blah, 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 blah. So anything new that happens, it'll come from the R&D team, research and development team, and they'll, filter that down to me. Let's just say you want to do a new, ranch dressing, right? So somebody over there will come up with the recipe, he'll send it to me, and we kind of send it down the road. Or I'll come up with something like I want to do, we want to start doing these teaching classes all across the country. So I'll come up with curriculum, to decide how that's made, bring all the chefs to my unit, show them, I'll give them a class like I'm doing right now, have them take notes, and then they will take this same information back to their units and so on and so forth. Things like that. So basically that means I have a lot of people that I'm responsible for. And so that's it. Make sense?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. What else? All right, let's make a salad while we're doing all that. All right, so we're gonna make a quick little salad. So I'm gonna take some spinach. Oh yeah, and by the way, let me get this. So we've been cooking that salmon for what? Like how long have we been on the phone? Like 5-10 minutes or on this thing, and it's already done. See that? Isn't that fantastic? Yep. Drop it. So let's make a quick salad right quick. So
Jason asked, what was the most challenging obstacle that you faced or have faced as a chef?
The most challenging obstacle? Man, that's a good question. It depends. Like, well, okay, so coming up in the culinary world, like working in restaurants, like it's just being able to really, really multitask and to handle a lot and a lot of pressure and keeping your composure and being able to navigate. This was even before I was leading teams. Like think about it. If you ever go to, like, my favorite place is like Starbucks, right? You go to Starbucks drive-through every single day, and that line is like wrapped around the corner, right? But why is that? Because as you guys order, right? We order, the order goes in through this ticket machine, and then it says, I want a coffee, I want a chai tea latte, I want blah, 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 right? Somebody back there, a cook or a barista, whatever, is back there turning away making these coffees, right? Somebody's doing that. So imagine that's in a restaurant on a Friday night, and there are 9,000 people at the front door, and there's 5 parties of 5 people, all reservations at 8 o'clock, right? And they all want a burger. I want a salad, no cheese. I want a da 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 da. Those cooks back there are like going. And me, what we call that person in the middle, who's the expediter. I'm the one that's saying to you, Clancy, I need 3 burgers, 1 medium rare, 1 medium, 1 well done. Joe on salad bar, I need 5 Caesar salads, no croutons, 1 no onions, 1 extra lettuce, so on and so forth. Coordinating all that. And all of a sudden, those tickets that I mentioned before that were coming in, now you got the machine here with orders dropping down to the floor for 6 hours straight. From the time you get there, it's 3 o'clock until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. That's hard. And still, and like no sitting, there's no breaks. It's like one time I burned my hand, and I was cooking something, whatever, some grease popped on my hand. My literally skin, I did like this, and my skin peeled off. Guess what? Chef's like, here you go. Here's a bandage, whatever, wrapped it up, put a glove on, let's go, order in, and you keep pumping. Things like that, that's hard. But that's chef-like, though. That's reality. But, now I don't necessarily do that, at my level, but I did for many years. Now it's more so the challenges are people. And I was talking to somebody about this earlier. The challenge is making sure that your people, that you have people that are trained that are able to do those things, right? Because I've done it. So now I'm able to train you on how to do that and how to navigate those same situations. So your people make or break you as you become leaders, right? Or as you're following someone. Remember that. Like, I have 150 employees and so on and so forth because I'm able to train the trainer, meaning I can train those people how to train other people. And as they get better, then I get better. Then we all get better. Then the company, you understand what I'm saying? So that's the challenge, is just making sure the food pieces, it is what it is. But the people part in the business aspect of it will be your greatest accomplishments or some of your bigger challenges. You just got to figure out what your lane is. Put aces in places, is what I said, and you'll be fine. Okay, what else you got for me? So anyway, while she's doing that, we're just gonna add some stuff. Anyway, so I got my spinach. I'm gonna add a little bit of herbs. I'm gonna put a little bit of my butternut squash in there, just for color. I'm gonna put a little bit of my apple mixture in there. Some pecans.
Do y'all want to come off mute and ask some questions? CC, hint, hint.
CC, don't pop with the babies.
So I'm thinking about becoming a chef.
Yeah.
But I just want to know, what's like the hardest part for you as being a chef?
CC is going to be a worldwide chef.
The hardest thing for me, like I said, is just the people part and trying to, it's all hard. actually. It's just everything about it is hard. It's just not easy at all. I think that it's hard, but it's very rewarding. Like you learn so much. Like I know I can do things now that I had no idea that I could do. Like multitasking, like in any given day, you get there at 6 o'clock in the morning and you've talked to 30 people, you've written a menu, you've had 2 meetings, you've served breakfast. Now you've got 900, they got 5 parties going out at 11. Just really the logistical piece of that stuff and using all sides of your brain is very, very cool. And it helps me in life as well, because now I can do multiple things and give things the important the amount of time that they need. Like one good thing that you'll learn is that whole 90-10 rule. How do you get things done, all those things done in a day, is you concentrate on that 10% that you can do well, and that will help you expand on that 90%. You follow me? But if you try to do 90% of everything that's due in one day, you only get 10% of it done. So focus on what you can focus on, get it done. It's all important, but you can't do everything at one time. But as you get better, it'll start to grow and grow and grow about as far as much as you can handle. So learning those skills can be challenging, but like I said, worth it. Cool.
Thanks, CC.
CC, let it pop.
You're welcome.
Thanks, CC. Appreciate it. Anything else, guys? So I'm just putting my little salad together. This is going to be kind of cool. Let's see, I didn't say sexy on time. I'm going to add some tomatoes just because that's fun, and I think they're pretty. Right?
Have you guys had heirloom tomatoes before? Like they're different colors and like they're really sweet. They're not like tart and sour like tomatoes might be. Nobody? Anybody?
Nobody. All right, so let's put this together right quick. So first things first, how do we want to do this? Let's do that. Huh? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to mound this. No, I'm not going to do that actually. Let's not do that like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plate this up now. So I'm going to take some of this little dressing here and I'm going to go around there like that. Then I'm going to come back with this one the other way. Right? Can you guys see that?
Okay.
Right? So this is where we're at so far. Right? So then I'm just going to take my salad that I mixed on the side. It's important that you mix everything on the side and then place it where you want it. And everything's nice and neat.
I know we always talk about like having something crunchy or like a crunch factor in there, so those pecans are going to be really good in there.
And you want to make sure that a lot of times it's not necessarily huge portions. A lot of times less is more, right? Mm-hmm. So I try not to like overwhelm my plate with stuff, right? So. So I'm just going to spread some of the other elements around for color.
Also, when we were planning and thinking about what to cook for you guys, One thing that I agreed on and Chef Sean agreed on was no asparagus. I know y'all love asparagus, but there's other green elements that you can put on the plate beside asparagus. So as you can see, we're using cilantro, we're using spinach,
And
so many other things.
Also, too, you want to make sure when you're making your dishes that you're not putting anything on the plate for garnish that's not in the dish, right? So all I did was take the elements that were already there and add them back into the fold. Mm-hmm. You follow me? I'm missing something.
Did you do the quinoa?
Yes, I need some red. It's okay. Questions? See that? Doesn't that look nice and folly? I just made that word up. But anyway, doesn't that look nice and folly? See that?
It's good. It's not asparagus, and you have a nice sauce.
See that? It's all about color. People eat with their eyes, right? So that's that. So I'm going to bring it around here so you can see it up close. Also, too, again, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that, or Facebook or whatever. But I want you guys to see this. This is pretty dope. I'm pretty proud of it. Look at that. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cute.
Thanks. I'll take cute. I wish we had smell-o-vision. It smells fantabulous in here. All right, cool. So that's the cold version. So we'll come back to that. Now, let's do something hot. So we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to make this one hot. Okay? So let's see if we can do this. So a little bit of oil in the pan. And now I'm just going to saute the spinach. Okay? What are the questions you guys got? Anything else? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pan and I'm going to add a little bit of this chopped garlic to it.
Okay. One of the questions was asked about money. What does it look like as far as like how much money you make or how much can you make being a chef or working in food service?
That's a good question. Money. Everybody wants to know how much money you can make. First of all, the amount of money you make really depends on your skill set, what you learn, what you know, right? So, of course, when you come out of school and you're a novice, you're like just learning, you know, you won't get as paid as much as a person that's a little bit more seasoned that's been doing it for a while. So you have to give that some time. Now, once you've been in the business for a while, and you can honestly say, well, I know how to do this, and you know, I know how to make money as a chef, right? And I also know how to manage my food costs and, you know, so on and so forth. Then with anything, you know, with experience comes compensation, right? So my suggestion would be the more you put into it, the more it'll give back to you. You know, I've been very fortunate to, you know, I'm all right, you know, things like that. So it really depends on what you know, who you know, and how you work your career, right? Look at that. Look at that happiness. Ooh. See that? That looks fantastic, if I do say so myself. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the same exact thing, but I'm gonna do it a little differently this time, just because. And again, it's all about how you want your food to be presented, right? You don't have to do it the way I do it. This is just my style. I like color, so and my patrons like color, so that's kind of how I do it. Okay. So this is that same sauce that I had that was cold. This one's warm. So I'm just gonna, you guys see that? I'm gonna smear that across there like that. Then I'm gonna take this. Actually, that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my salmon. I'm gonna place that first.
Okay, I'm gonna go to some of the questions that they asked about how they can improve their cooking. That were really good.
So this is what I'm calling a deconstructed salad. So the other one was a composed salad. So it had all the elements where they were kind of on top of each other. So now when I do this, like those people who want to eat all their food separately. So all this is just going to be laid out where you can pick and choose and eat it how you want to, the way you want to, where you want to, that type of thing. Okay? So that's why I'm doing this like that. What was the question?
What inspires you to cook an ingredient in a certain cuisine or dish?
What now? Say that again.
What inspires you to cook an ingredient in a certain cuisine dish, I guess?
So like the question is basically asking like you have a piece of salmon. What inspires you to cook it a certain way, like French style or Italian style?
Oh, okay.
That's good. Okay.
That's better. Okay, I get it now. So, well, it depends. Like, it depends on what season it is, who I'm cooking for, what they want. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm cooking for someone that's, I don't know, Asian, and I'm going to do something Asian inspired, something teriyaki, sesame, black sesame, things like that. Or like the other day, I went and I was in the mood for pho. So I had pho, which I think it had pork belly and different things like that in it. But if I was doing a Southern cuisine, I might make jalapeno cornbread with Cajun pork belly, different things like that. It just depends. But what happens as a chef, though, is you start to realize what tastes good with what, if that makes sense. Meaning, like I can basically look at a dish right now and tell what's in it, what it needs, anything like that before I even bite into it. Just because I can look at this plate right now and say, that's going to be fabulous, or this may need that, or so on and so forth. Things like that, but that happens over time. So it just depends on really your client and who you're cooking for, to be honest with you. I hope that answers your question.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Do you taste test every food when you make it the first time?
I taste every single thing that I prepare. Every single thing. Like everything that's out here today, I've already tasted everything before you guys got on here. Just because like certain elements work with certain elements, meaning like I salted let's say I salted the spinach, but I also salted the quinoa. Or I didn't salt the quinoa, so on and so forth. So my point is you want to make sure things are seasoned, but not over seasoned, and vice versa. And they're not under seasoned as well. But if you don't taste it, then how do you know? You're guessing, right? Because it's like, especially when you buy like, I don't know, like seasonings, like you buy McCormick seasoning, or you buy, what's this? Who's this by? This is Himalayan pink salt, but there could be a different type of pink salt that has a different concentration. Maybe they cook their seasoning longer. longer, so the concentration's higher or lower. You know what I mean? So that salt or sodium in there could be out of control. And well, I had it last time. It's Cajun seasoning. It also tastes the same. No, that's not actually true. So you got to always taste your food before you season it, just so you don't get yourself in a bind that you really can't get out of. Yeah, I hope that helps. Okay, what else we got?
What was your favorite dish to make?
In life,
Mhm.
my favorite dish to
make or eat.
To eat, I can tell you that, is this tomato basil tomato. It's got tomato, basil, asparagus, mushrooms, and this creamy white wine risotto with pan-seared scallops. Man, money. That's my favorite dish in all of life. Or I really like my new thing right now is, like I said, pho. I like poke. I'm into sushi. I'm into like lighter foods now. So it depends. Like in Cali, it depends on where you are too. Like in California, everybody eats like, 2 ounces of food and they're full. You know what I mean? But then you come to California and like you come to North Carolina and you gotta eat like, I don't know, Bojangles and Cookout. It just depends. Like I had 3 hot dogs last night from Cookout. I don't know. It just depends. So yeah, I eat Cookout like every day since I've been here for 2 weeks. So it just depends. All right, what else? Are we done?
Do you guys have any other questions about anything? That was sonic looks really good on it too. Do you feel like you're inspired to try some of these? And Chef Sean actually wrote these recipes just for you guys. Like he tailored them just for you, just for this class, based on what I told him you guys were talking about, what we were studying. So this is definitely like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like who says they had like a professional chef in their culinary class? Like
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Teacher of the year.
Good job, Teach.
So questions. Come on, Clancy. I know you have a burning one. Still there with us?
Let's see. I mean, I guess you cook the salmon pretty quickly, so I was like wondering, like, how do you make sure the herbs don't burn? I know a lot of big questions. I'm thinking, like, how do you not burn those, right?
Well, man, you see how long it took to cook that salmon? Like 2 minutes. You know what I mean?
And the way you cut it too.
And especially like the way I cut it. That's a good point. The way I cut it flat like that. So it's keeping the whole thing even, and it's gonna cook at an even pace. You follow what I'm saying? And really, it's just about like I've cooked this dish like 1,000 times, or this variation of a dish 1,000 times. So it's like riding a bike. Eventually, you know that if you pedal faster, you're gonna go faster. It's just, I don't know. It's repetition, really. But just making sure the herbs are chopped well. They're pressed in there. You're doing everything the exact same. And as you saw when I was doing the pan, I kept pulling it on and off the heat. Like I want my pan to be warm but not smoking hot. Like I can't control the heat if you're cooking everything on hot. Then everything's just going to burn, and then the herbs are going to be black, but the fish will be raw on the inside. Like we don't want that. So we keep it on medium heat, continue to watch it, continue to look at it, so on and so forth. And then once the sides start turning opaque on the side that I know the fish is about done, flip it over, put it in the oven. And then when it goes in the oven, everything's cooking at the same time. You follow me? Because the heat from the oven is encompassing it versus direct heat from the bottom, like it's capturing its whole body. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I put everything in the oven. This looks really good, actually. Can you guys see that? I'm just get a close up of that. That looks really good. This is a very good fall dish. You see how I pulled that together? We've been on the phone. Like, can you see? Wait, doesn't that look dope? That looks good.
The plate also too makes a difference.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Always.
You see, and that took like 10 minutes to do. You know what I mean? So, or whatever. I mean, if I was talking the whole time, but I don't know, I did something. So anyway, I don't know. That's it. I'm gonna clean up. I'm gonna eat that. And then you guys don't have any more questions. That's all I got, man. You guys, like I said, you've been great. It's been fun to be back. And yeah,
I got a question. It's not really food related, but it's like, I mean, it's kind of like for the food industry because I wanted to work in the food industry.
yeah.
Um, do you have tattoos? Like, I know a lot of people don't like when.
That's a great question. I've been waiting on that all day. I have a couple. But what was your question? I'm sorry. Was that the question? Do I have tattoos?
Yeah, because I know a lot of people like don't like when people. I don't know. Some people don't like when like you have tattoos. I was like, is that a big thing, like a no-no, or is it?
I don't even really know how to answer that, but I'm gonna just be honest with you. It really depends, right? So that's a very sensitive question. Okay, I can just say what I do. And this is not by any means, I do not own the rights to this, whatever, to tell you anything. I'm just talking. Huh? No. It's not that serious. But I think that for me, my thing is when I have tattoos, but I also have tattoos that aren't, you can't really see them unless I want you to see them. You follow me? Like I don't have any on my face or on my whatever. Not to judge anybody that does, but for me, when I decided to get tattoos, I just didn't want that to be the conversation piece that starts the conversation with me. You follow me? It's not like, ooh, look at your tattoos. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I'm Chef Sean, and this is what we're talking about. You follow me? But it all depends on the culture and the environment. Like in California, like you see 60-year-old people with tattoos. It just depends. You know what I mean? And some places are more conservative. So I think that would just own your environment and where you are. I would look at it like that. But I will give the advice I tell my own daughter, you know what I mean? Like just keep it where you are the conversation and not your body art, you know? So, but at this point too, like I think all chefs have tattoos somewhere, you know? So it all depends. I hope that answers your question.
It did.
You know? So, but yeah, I have a couple. So.
Because I was planning on getting some myself.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't know if that was a thing or not. So.
Yeah, like I said, it depends, you know. I definitely have hired people with and without tattoos. I don't think it just depends. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't and some of those things I think, you know, it's like are kind of you gotta just make smart decisions. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't, you know, I just if I had, you know, a tattoo that says I hate chefs on my forehead, you know, I wouldn't go and try and get a job in a restaurant. Things like that. Like just don't do that. And then you'll be fine, I think. I know that sounds simple, but true at the same time. Trust me, I've seen it. Not that particular thing, but just something weird. You know what I mean? So just got to be careful. Be smart about what you're doing. Ooh, this needs pepper. What else you guys got?
I got a question.
I have an answer.
What was the hardest dish for you to ever accomplish throughout all your cooking years?
The hardest dish?
Yes, sir.
I hate baking. I can bake. I have the ability. I'm smart, but I don't have the patience for it. I'm more of a savory person. Meaning like doing like flambe in front of 1,000 people in a dining room. You know what flambe is, like making like banana Fosters or like banana Fosters French toast in front of a dining room full of people, table side. Like that's hard. It's not difficult hard, but it's like stressful hard. Like, oh my God, if you burn these bananas and stir off the smoke alarm in the middle of the dining room, that's probably gonna be bad. You know what I'm saying? So that was challenging, things like that. But I mean, a lot of stuff is hard, like making bread, you know, is challenging. It was challenging, but I had to do it like several times. Because you got to get the oil, water, yeast, and all that stuff, and temperature right. or like back in, I can name you a million things that took me time and time and time to get right. Or like making hollandaise sauce. You know, you got to have the butter clarified. It's got to be at, I can't even remember now, like 125 degrees. Or if it's hotter than that, it'll break if it's hotter than that. The eggs will cook. If it's colder than that, then it coagulates and it gets stuck together. So a lot of stuff, but you do it over and over and over again. Or making freaking Caesar dressing. Have you made Caesar dressing before? Yeesh. Or mayonnaise, like things like that are just like, you know. So it again, it's repetition though, and studying, and you know, always tasting, and you know, always having, you know, your reference guide there, especially as you're coming up and you're learning. You know what I mean? Always have your recipe book around, you know, that you can refer back to, because even though you've made it 100 times, you this may be the day you forget to put the, I don't know, salt in there, and all of a sudden you just served. Oh, we were talking about this earlier about that book, Salt, Fat, Heat, Acid, whatever. And I don't know if you guys have read that in class or not, but
Yeah, this is the class.
oh, so you remember the part where she made the lasagna and she made 500 portions of the lasagna or something like that, and she forgot to put the cheese sauce or meat sauce in there or something like that? It happens. But she's made the lasagna 100 times. It happens though. You know what I mean? Things like that. So just staying sharp and never ever think that you are, you know, you made it. You know what I mean? You got to stay sharp, because, you know, your last guess is your best guess, you know? So that's the way I look at it. I try to just make sure I, you know, give it 100% each and every time out the gate. And it's all good. So, yeah.
All right, good questions, you guys.
I got one more quick question.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Go for it.
So, when you make a new dish, what help you inspire new ideas?
People, you guys, watching TV, eating, going out to eat. I think that, you know, Ashley and I were talking about this other day, like, you know, I'm a foodie who just so happened to become a chef, you know, meaning I love to eat and try things, you know. Like, I hate to keep talking about cookout. Clearly, that's what on my mind today. But anyway,
You made this gourmet meal?
whatever. She's like, after you just made this gourmet meal, so what? I had a great slaw dog yesterday. So I was thinking about, because the other day for this class that I did this live on Facebook, right? And I made this cilantro lime, because I had that slaw dog at cookout, right? But I also went to that Perkins orchard out in Durham, right? And I got this jicama, right? Everybody's like, oh, what are you going to do with that? Well, I made this cilantro lime jicama slaw with like roasted peppers and I forget, there's a bunch of other things in there. Carrots, and I pickled them, right? So I put some rice wine vinegar, a little bit of sugar, and I pickled them and let them sit overnight and put that on a hot dog. Money, dude. So it just depends. You know, inspiration comes from anywhere. Or you see something on TV, like, you know, I think the biggest thing is reading, even if it's like audible books, listening to things, you know, not recreating what other people are doing, but sometimes, you know, you need something to spark that energy in you. It's like, how do I do that? Like, I think I might have talked to you guys about this bread pudding last time, but we're in the restaurant and we were making creme brulee, right? So creme brulee is basically just an egg custard, right? So heavy cream, half and half, white chocolate is what I put in mine, right? Bring that to a boil. Then you got your egg yolks, sugar, right? Mix them, temper them together, blah, blah, blah. That makes basically as creme brulee, right? Before you torch it. All that kind of stuff. Anyway, so we made the creme brulee, but I had, I don't know, let's say a gallon of batter left over. What am I going to do with that, right? So that was sitting in the walk-in for like, you know, a couple hours or whatever. Then, so we break down breakfast, right? You know, and it was a buffet at that time. And so they had all these Danish and donuts left over because it was like a donut wall party. So they had all these donuts left over because nobody was all the people that reserved for the party didn't come, right? Well, we can't throw away 4 dozen donuts, right? So what are we gonna do with them? Ooh, I have an idea. Boom. Why don't we chop up the donuts, pour the creme brulee batter on top of them, and make bread pudding, right? Oh my God, that's so good. You know how many times I made that in my life? Now, this was 5 years, thousands of times for people, and it came together just like that. So it just depends. It can come from anywhere. Yeah.
And I know with like new dishes, there's always trial and error. Have you ever like given up on a dish because like you were so unsuccessful with it?
Yeah, several times. I wouldn't say giving up on it, like that's, but sometimes you got to walk away from it. It's like one of the things that I try to do now with my team, especially, is because, with all the things that, let's just say, we think about throughout the day, like I can't figure out, like my brain won't let me figure out how to plate this dish. I got it in my mind what I want, but as I put it on the plate, it's not coming together the way I want. So now, I was like, you know what? I just got to walk away. I'll come back to it and go walk around the corner and it'll come back. Well, by the time it's sitting there, somebody from my team that I've trained, right, and brought up and shown, now they're like, Chef, what do you think about this? And so then we all start brainstorming. You follow me? And so that's how you work through it. But for a while, to learn that and to say that you got it all figured out the first time, that's just not possible. Not possible. Because something's not right, or something's off, or the seasoning's not right, or it needs this, or, like today we were making that butternut squash, and I was sitting here like, that needs something. Then we figured out, it needs a kick. It needs allspice. So we added some nutmeg, different things like that. But I've made that thing 100 times, a variation of it. But we had to change it for today's application. So you just keep trying, man. And before you know it, like Ashley was asking me today, it's like, well, I told her I want to make bruschetta. She's like, well, do you have a recipe? I was like, yes, I have a variation of one. Well, now, it's just a matter of just looking through my 20 years of notes. I have probably 20,000 recipes that I can pull from. But that's from doing it over and over and trying and failing and getting it wrong and then figuring it out and so on and so forth. It's like Michael Jordan says, you only miss the shots you don't take, bro. So I shoot a lot. Shooter. That's it. What else, bro? Sir, ma'am? Any other questions, guys? This is good. You guys have been really, really into it today. I like that. Anyway, look me up on social media, Chef Sean Andre, Facebook, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we'll do some things. All right?
Thank you, guys. Hope you have an amazing weekend. Talk to you later.
See ya. Thanks for the demo.
Yes, sir.
Bye. Thank you.